Hey guys, Chelsea Cody here again with the digital learning team. And today we're going to be diving into the monthly skill focus, innovative instructional designer. This whole section that we're going to be going through is called the student experience. So connecting the student experience to that innovative instructional designer. Let's start by looking at our monthly skill focus. And again, you'll see that we're kind of honing in on the teacher portion of the monthly focus. But of course, when you have that innovative instructional design as a teacher, you can inspire your students to have those opportunities to be innovative designers themselves. So we're looking at how this impacts us as instructors, but obviously you could bring that into innovative designer for your students. So what does it mean to be an innovative designer? Well, already in our training so far, you've looked at TPAC and SAMR, that digital pedagogy, and you're also going to bring in your toolbox of all those tech tools, your teaching pedagogy. It's all going to come together for you to really design purposeful, meaningful activities and content for your learners. So again, the online teacher curates and creates instructional materials, tools, strategies, resources to engage all learners and ensure achievement of academic goals. That's where we're really focusing in on. This is that focus for March. Our goals for this section are to explore Canvas's fundamental 5. Let me pause for a second. We are looking at Canvas specifically because this is the district's LMS. Just like our training is on Canvas, we're going to be looking at some demo courses and then our own Canvas courses with what Canvas calls their fundamental 5. We're going to navigate Canvas as a student, which all of you, because you're I3s, you're already in this course and you are navigating it as a student. It's more than just looking at the curriculum. It is actually submitting assignments, moving through, learning, and then responding back and forth with your peers and teachers. So you are already acting as a student, but this is just another opportunity for you to look at some demo courses as a student. And then finally, just like I said, we're going to reflect on our own Canvas course or courses using the fundamental 5. See if there's things that we're doing great. See if there are things that we could improve. So what is the fundamental 5? I keep saying that, the fundamental 5. Canvas spoke with administrators, teachers, students, parents, families during the closure, so during the COVID closure this spring, and they wanted to know how they could improve the communication processes of online courses, that virtual learning. And from that conversation, 5 questions came from these most common concerns of students and families as they're navigating and working online. So they took all of the responses and did a little bit of affinity mapping, I'm assuming, and came up with 5 of the most commonly asked questions when a student is in a course. And if you'd like, this Canvas Fundamental 5 is their actual blog post about their Fundamental 5. So here are those fundamental 5 questions that Canvas asks in a course. What am I supposed to do? When is it due? How did I do? So when I've done something, how did I do? Can you help me? And what more can I do? Not necessarily in that order, but these are 5 things that students are asking when they're in a course, when they're doing that virtual learning. I think of when I get into a course and I look at an assignment and I'm like, okay, what do I actually need to do? What do I need to do to be successful? What am I trying to hit? How am I going to be evaluated? You can easily see how these questions come up when you've been a student in our courses. So let's start by looking at each question individually and how Canvas sees that question working in the course. And then we'll dive deeper into looking at those courses. So first is, what am I supposed to do? Why is this important? Well, students are accessing assignments virtually. Even if we are working with students in a Google Meet and we're saying that out loud, having that reinforcement in a course, so if they're not present, is huge. When they're asking questions later, when they're doing that independent practice, we know that this is very important even in a physical classroom. What should I be doing? And what do I need to do? So things that you could do to help students with what am I supposed to do? Posting schedules. I see this a lot on our homepage, right? Somebody might have a schedule, we need to be in live meets at these times. Here's our schedule throughout the week. Here's how you access the day's work in a logical method in a central location, something that is very visible to those students. Include specific and clear directions. So this could be in the assignment itself. Okay, it could be audio supports, could be video supports. Maybe you include both to assist them and their guardians when they're looking at materials. So especially if students are working asynchronously, not necessarily wordy directions, but concise, clear, easy to follow directions are huge, especially for those students who are working on their own. When is this due? So I'm sure students haven't changed much, but that progress report date and the report card locking date, it's amazing how many times students would have so many missing assignments. And then like the day of progress reports locking, I'd have lines coming up to my desk. Well, miss, I don't have this turned in. So getting work back in time for us is really important as educators because we need to be able to see how students are performing, where their deficits are, where the gaps are, how we can adjust our teaching. And it's important for them so that they are getting that learning in a progression that matches what the rest of the class is doing, and helps them towards their academic goals. Of course, we know that as teachers. What you can do, communicating with your students about like the hard deadlines and the soft deadlines and having that clarity is huge. So that doesn't mean you have to have like late work policies or hard due dates. Whatever your due dates are for you, when you really need that work back, communicating that with parents and students and guardians is very important for accountability. How did I do? Students want to know how they did, especially with grades, right? Mention those progress reports, like they look at how they're doing, meaning how much missing work they might have or how they performed on certain assignments, and they really want to know how they can improve. So I like this quote from Canvas. Again, you can look at their Fundamental 5, but grades are inevitable. Feedback is personal. So grading the students and having policies that allow them to see how they did easily and providing that feedback can make an impact on that student learning. See in this picture, the girls are like touching the cookies. Not necessarily, maybe they're gonna like, eat the frosting after or that powdered sugar, but maybe they're talking about like, oh, these do look good. I think we did well. Maybe we should taste them to see how we did. And anytime you've used salt instead of sugar, immediately how you did on that baking. So same thing for our students. Time is definitely very precious as an educator, but finding ways to provide feedback will have major dividends in the end for students. Can you help me? Okay, especially during the closure when we were learning how to navigate all of these new platforms, that help was huge, whether it was in time where they're sharing their screen, we're speaking with them, we're doing all the troubleshooting that we can, but can you help me? It's not just about like that tech troubleshooting. It's, can you help me? I'm not understanding these concepts. Where do I go for help? When is help available? Where is help available? As students are working asynchronously or live, having a place where students can ask for help, they're enabled to ask for that help, they know how to ask for help, there's a process, makes them feel more secure in their learning. So one of the things you could do is promoting that communication through the inbox in Canvas. Maybe you have a logo. Hey, need help? Check out the inbox. Hey, need help? Remember, you can always message me on the inbox. You can also message students here as well. This is a huge function that we are able to access through Canvas, especially for those elementary students that don't have email. When they're in Canvas, they see the notifications in the inbox. And then number 5, what more can I do? Just like we said before, students are motivated by their grades, okay? Especially, when we start getting into those grades where students can be in activities and extracurriculars, those grades have a lot of influence on what they can and cannot do, and they influence their future. So it's, I like to say this, it's a language that our guardians and families will understand, the percentages and the grades. What you can do is maybe provide opportunities for students to resubmit or make up that work, or even provide those extension activities. Hey, I finished for the day. What more can I do to further my learning? What else can I work on? Where can I go after this? Those activities that they might be connecting with, is there a way for them to do alternate activities that reach that modality for them? So that is our 5th question. And these questions you can hear, like they connect to our pedagogy as teachers. Here's where we're going to go into those model courses. So right here on the slides, which I'm going to have embedded on this page in our Canvas course. If you click on example course A, you're going to want to enroll in A, and you're also going to want to enroll in B. We're going to do a little bit of comparing and contrasting here of two courses. A tale of two courses sounds like something Charles Dickens would write if he were alive today. But we're looking at example course A and example course B. Okay, you will see that they are designed differently, covering similar material, not exactly the same, but maybe you have two teachers, two different campuses, two different teams, but they have both designed courses. As you're going through these courses, you are going to be using this Google form to do some evaluation. So thinking about those fundamental 5, which you can come back and look at these slides as you're going through, starting with the course A or starting with course B, you're going to look for those questions. What am I supposed to do? As a student, can I understand easily what I am supposed to do on that day? When is it due? How did I do? Now, this one is a little bit harder, the how did I do, because I'm not actively providing you feedback as a student on what you've turned in, but there might be some signs there to help the student reflect on material before they turn it in. Think rubrics, think what the teacher might be setting expectations for the assignment, that kind of thing. Can you help me? Where do I go for help? And then what more can I do? Are there notes or items about what more can be done? And then you're going to rate your anxiety in both courses. When you are done with the rating, you're going to come back and use these reflective questions to think about what you answered. So, which course had the highest stress rating and why? You don't have to turn this into me anywhere. I can guess which course is going to have the highest rating because I designed them, but I want you to think about it. Maybe one was more stressful to you than the other for other reasons than the fundamental 5, but think about your highest stress rating and why. And then we're going to take what was stressful and what could have been improved. What could have been added to that course to make it more easy to navigate and to learn as a student. Again, put yourself in the shoes of a student. Once you have reflected, so you've done your evaluation of the two courses and you have reflected on those two questions, you are now going to turn to your own Canvas course. Now, I know, at elementary, you may be cross-listed. You might have a single homeroom. That's where your design is. That's fine. If you're at the high school or secondary level and you have multiple courses, maybe pick one. Just focus in on one. I'm not asking you to do this with all of them, but you might go back and look at all of them once you see some adjustments you could make. So you're going to use the fundamental 5 to evaluate your own Canvas course. So hopefully you had a couple aha moments when you were looking at the courses before, and you can make those adjustments now. So again, you're going to look at what am I supposed to do? Do your students easily see what am I supposed to do each day? When is it due? How did I do? Can you help me? What more can I do? And I think about if I just had a page with a Google assignment LTI embedded, okay, Google assignment is in there. There's nothing in the RCE. What if that student's Google LTI is not functioning that day? And I know you guys have had situations where this has happened. They can't access something for whatever reason. If there's no material above there, they're at a dead stop for that day. So are there things that we could add to that page that speak to what am I supposed to do? When is it due? How did I do? Can you help me? What more can I do? To facilitate that student being able to continue on without it being an emergency stop. Okay. Again, if you want to go back and look at that the Canvas Fundamental 5, you are welcome to do that. So let's look again at how does the Fundamental 5 connect to our skill focus. Okay. What tips would we share about what we just went through? So I'm going to help you reflect on this a little bit. And then again, we're going to respond in a discussion with what you guys come up with. One tip that this brings to mind is requirements in a module, right? If there's something that a student just needs to view, that I set it to be view as a requirement. They don't have to turn anything into me. Maybe I have mark as done or submit on there so that the parent knows what the student needs to do. The guardian knows what the student needs to do. The student themselves know, I need to do this thing. I need to mark it as done when I'm done. So the tip I could share is about Canvas requirements. Maybe I share a tip about how to include the inbox icon, how to reference the inbox icon, how to use the inbox on Canvas, because that would address that how do I ask for help question, can you help me question. Do you see how those tips all stem from those fundamental 5? I'm not expecting you to share the fundamental 5 with your teachers. You are more than welcome to. If that's the tip that you want to focus on, you are more than welcome to share that. But just taking something that maybe was a tidbit to you when you were looking at this, something you hadn't thought about including, and then sharing that to your teachers. Could be about how to embed in the RCE on a discussion, how to use the studio to embed. All those kind of tips can connect back to this instructional designer, okay, that innovative instructional designer. You could also on the skill focus in on the innovative designer. Maybe there is a reflection process. Maybe you really liked the Google form reflection process we did. Maybe you share with your staff how to use Google Forms as a learning process rather than just a formative assessment or end assessment. So, maybe almost like a checklist kind of thing. Those are just a couple of things that were triggered in my mind when I was looking at how this activity brings you back to that monthly skill focus. Now that we have talked about this monthly skill focus, you are going to go back to the Canvas course and complete those activities that we just talked about. If you wanted to during this video and you pause and you already completed the activities, that's great. But that's what you're focusing on for this section. Now, speaking specifically to my pre-K through 2 teachers, you can have a second learning platform, right? You use Seesaw. And so what I'm going to do is include some bonus material specifically for you, grades 3 through 5, if you would like to also look at this. For those teachers that do come to you for Seesaw questions, you're welcome to do that as well. But things that you could reflect on your Seesaw classes for that student experience. Again, what are some things that would enable your students to have an even better experience on Seesaw? So thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you the rest of the training.